makes most women start a business? Is it passion, money, or freedom? Welcome to Female Founders, the podcast that takes you behind the scene with women who are founders and CEOs to help you start and scale a successful business of your own. I am your host, Naghilia. This week, I had the privilege of speaking with an amazing female founder. Her name is Mariet Ostos. That went from being homeless to building a successful business to help businesses with tax law. Mariet's story tilled me. Imagine being homeless with a baby on the way. Get ready to learn, inspire, and motivated. So let's get to the interview. Good morning, Mariet. How are you doing today? Thank you for being here with us today, and I am so excited to learn more about you and learn more about your company as well. You are doing awesome work in my hometown in Florida, and I'm just super excited to meet other women that is doing great work in Florida.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm very excited.
Thank you. Before we get started, I had the chance to read about you, get to know a little bit about you, and I find you've been through a lot, and then I'm just too excited to actually know the whole story. So the first question I have for you is, I know that life was hard for you back in 2000, and you've been through a lot. Can you tell us something about your journey from Caracas, Venezuela to Atlanta, Georgia?
Yes. The big decision came after I found out I was pregnant. I was 19 years old. My country was going through a really bad situation, and I really had the need to give a better opportunity to my daughter. So I decided to leave my country. I didn't even think about it. Back in 1997, after the Olympic Games in Georgia, I went to visit and I fell in love with that city. It was something that when I was there, like, oh my God, if I ever leave my country, I will come to live here without even know that a couple of years later, that will come true, you know? So when I find out that I was pregnant, I had to make a decision. I felt really guilty because I was really young to get pregnant, but it gave me a strength, you know, like, okay, I'm not the first one, but I can make it better. So I decide, and I felt so much love for that, for my daughter to come and to be able to give her a better opportunity. So we moved to Georgia. I was 4 months pregnant. I came with $1,000 in my pocket and just a backpack full of dreams. And to start from zero, just $1,000 in my hands. So sooner, after 2 months being here, I was living in the streets. That's when I met a lady in a church. I was praying that day. And she came to me and we started talking. I told her what I was going through. And this person was managing a shelter for domestic violence. And she offered me to come and join the house. But I had to go with her with my eyes blind. I have to get into a van and drive about an hour. So can you imagine being in a church and someone that you don't know tells you you have to put blinds in your eyes because you cannot see the place that we're going because it was a shelter for domestic violence. I was so afraid. I started crying and I started praying and I didn't know what to do. But living in the street, it wasn't that easy either. Being pregnant, my belly was huge. When my daughter was born, she was 9.5 pounds. So you can imagine it was huge. And I was a 19 years old. I was a really tiny person back then. So, and I just felt peace in my heart, even when I was crying. And I say, okay, God, maybe I have to go. So I get into the car. They put the thing in my eyes, and I was praying the whole journey. It was like about an hour until I got there, and that's what I have. I could sleep in a bed, and I could relax a little bit, and I lived there for 6 months. My daughter was born while I was living in that shelter. It was a really nice but difficult experience because I had never go through domestic violence, but at the same time I could see it from another point of view. Anyone can go through in a certain point of life for domestic violence. So I learned so much, but of course it wasn't a place that I didn't want to stay longer. So I start cleaning houses, bathrooms, whatever it comes to my way to start building something here, for me and for my daughter. So that's how I started in this beautiful and amazing country.
I don't know what to say.
Yes, yes.
Usually I think I go through a lot in life. And when I have to listen to someone's story, I'm sorry, I feel like I want to cry because it's kind of like, oh my God. And when you started to talk, I can relate because I started Womel because I was pregnant. And when the time for me to go back to work, and I couldn't do it. I just couldn't leave that little baby and then gone. It's like, and so I understand you want to do something better for yourself and for your daughter. And it's like at the same time you create something better for the next generation as well.
Yes.
It's amazing. And to be able to get in that car, I would probably be shaking.
Yeah, that was hard though. That was really hard because um, sometimes we ask for things and we don't really mean or listen of how things develop. We always want to control how things we want it. And sometimes life has another plan for us,
Grandpa?
and we have to trust. I don't know what I will be if I didn't trust that moment, that point when I was in that church, getting the decision of not getting into that van. It was a red wine van. I remember, I can take you to that gas station. It was because the church was close to a gas station where they were meeting me to pick me up. In Georgia, it was a Texaco gas station. So I had to make that decision. And how many times we have been into that point to make a decision that will change our life, and we don't trust ourselves. That was enough. And I have been since then so many points in my life, and I always remind me, like, am I trusting in my dream? And I'm believing in what it takes for me to do what it takes to go to where I want to be. That question, and I always go back, not to suffer. That's why we have a past, is to learn from it and to grow from it. So it's okay, I have these two decisions. I can stay where I am and be a victim of my own decisions because it's nobody else's decision, it's mine. Or to make a change and learn from whatever I have to go through. And that's been always a huge change in my life. And that's what I've been teaching amazing women. I now have a team of 7 amazing, wonderful women where I learn from them every single day. And I can be the most amazing leader because they make my job so easy. But to make that change, you have to make a decision and just do it. Do whatever you have that desire and go from it with all your heart. It always come out amazing. The worst thing that you can get is a lesson. And I love lessons. So that always keeps me moving, going forward.
Oh my goodness. I just couldn't. I guess the only thing I can say is I can imagine going back and just imagining you at 19 years old, big belly, a backpack, homeless, and thinking, God, what do I do at this point? Do I get in this truck and something will happen? It's either I got kidnapped, I got killed, or I end up with a better life. And you making that choice that day change your life and also create a better future for your daughter.
Yes,
For a
definitely.
lot of us, and I will not lie to you, probably I wouldn't get in that truck because I would in that van because I would have been too scared. I would be shaken because I don't know these people. I don't know if they're telling the truth. And a lot of us wouldn't take that chance and would have missed that opportunity that God created because you went to that church asking God for help. And here it is. Here's the help. Just right here. Here's the help. It's amazing.
Yeah, I trust in him 100%. I have this amazing connection that I have built, and anyone can have that connection. It's just to trust and to always expect the good, because we give what we are, not what we want to be. So when you know your heart and you trust and believe in that, and there is something bigger for you, and it's something always bigger for us, our own plans. We just have to trust and create that connection and wait and make that sometimes the silence. Sometimes we want the response right away and the way that we want it. No, just stop for a second and feel, connect with that inner self that has more knowledge than our minds. It always will guide you where you have to, where you're supposed to be. It always guides you where you're supposed to be, where you have to, it will take you where you have to be doing what you're supposed to be doing in this life. We just have to believe. I don't know if you have felt it, but lately we need more people. They need faith. They have faith. That we share our faith. If we connect more with faith, I know we will change the world. And the only world that we can change is our world. And that powerful feeling, we can spread it around the world. And we, that way we can make a big change. Everything for me start with faith.
I have to say I agree with you on that. And back in 2014, I know I made a change in my life, especially when I have my son. And I felt it. It's like I felt like when I got pregnant was God wanted a change on me, and that kid's supposed to come and change that one human being. And I have to allow that to happen. And it's not about me, it's about what I'm supposed to do in this world to make an impact and to also help the next generation. And another thing that I learned is even with COVID-19, when it's hit, is the fact that I have to believe in God that I'm going to be okay. I am going to be okay. And I was okay. And I have been okay. And I keep on moving forward with my, even with One Mail, we didn't close down. We just keep on moving forward. And I keep on praying, God, please guide me to the right direction. At this time, so many people need help. How can I help? Maybe I just need to talk to people. And it's kind of funny. I would end up having conversation with people and they would be like, thank you, I needed to hear that. And I'm like, oh, you're welcome. So I guess that's what I'm supposed to be doing today. And it's amazing. And you're right, you have to believe in faith. And I think that the universe, we are connected somehow, and you have to trust that Mother Nature is, they're all here for us, and we have to believe that we are going to be okay, and just give a hand when you need to. And I totally agree with you. And I don't know, your story is just amazing. It's, but
Yeah.
I do have other questions for you. Why did you choose to become a tax law expert?
Well, my mom, she's an accountant, one of the best accountants ever. So when I was 5 years old, she decided to enter to college and study accounting. So for 4 years, I went with my mom at night to college. She graduates, and I graduate too when I was little, and I help her to do all the calculations, all the numbers and everything. It was normal for me. I was the youngest of three on my family. So my mom has to be with me all the time. So I learned from her. So when I was growing up, I helped her in her business. So when I came to United States, after I started working on my first year, I went to do my taxes, and I went to a lady who I was referred to, and she did a fraud, a tax fraud in my tax return. So I received a bill from the IRS on 2001 for 1,500. Maybe nowadays it doesn't seem nothing, but back then, oh my God, it was everything for me. I thought, oh my God, I will never pay this. Why this happened to me? So because I had knowledge on accounting, and I went to college when I was 16 years old, I went to study accounting. So I know a lot of knowledge, and the accounting in the whole world, the basics are the same. So I decided to start learning about taxes, because if I went through that, I knew the other people were going through that situation too. So I'm a person that if I can help my community or any person that comes to me for something that I went through, I will definitely do it. So I decided to study day and night about tax law in the United States. So anybody will have to go through what I went through and to pay these high fees, these high penalties, because I didn't have knowledge. So since 2001, I started reading publications directly from the IRS. Then I met a CPA, a beautiful old man, an all American man, that I start talking about all this, and he started helping me to get more knowledge on the process. So that's how I started, because I went through a really bad situation, and I wanted to help other people's not going through the same path that I had to go through. And I fell in love with the tax law, and I've been doing that since then.
Wow. And you are right. It's a lot of that's been going around for the past few years in United States, and also I think that some people are doing also to make more money, and it's ridiculous. And I think it was back in 2013, I went to a company to do my taxes, and they charged me about, it was almost $500, and I'm like, why am I paying you $500? This is just a normal tax. I don't have a business. I don't have all these things, and you're charging me all that money. And that was the last time I went through someone to actually do my taxes. And the same thing as you, I kind of try to learn the basic for myself, to be able, also for my company to be able to understand. Even if a CPA doing it, I kind of have the knowledge as well. But you are right, and then I appreciate someone like you to step up, say, hey, this is not gonna happen to someone else. It's already happened to me, will not happen. So helping other people, it's I think it's a great business that you started to help other people. People need that support. They get screwed a lot when it comes to
Yes, yes.
taxes.
I can see it, and I love what I do. I don't have to go to work every day because I love what I do. Is my passion is, seeing the change in people when they understand the importance of manage your money right, how that can change your life. And the amazing thing that I've been crossing path with business and personal, you cannot grow a business if you don't grow yourself first. Business get stuck, don't grow, don't flourish if you don't flourish inside of yourself. So that's what I do every day. I help you to connect with your fears, with your dark side, so you can bring the best out of you, so you can grow your business, so you can understand money, so you can understand finances, so you can invest your money instead of spending your money with bad debts. So I could make that connection because he helped me. Let me tell you, I got to the point that I have more than $60,000 in credit card debt. A single mother with a $60,000 in credit card debts when my interest in my credit card was 24.99%. The debt was killing me. I was like in this rat race all the time. How many people doesn't go through that in this country? Most people. When I went to get help, I remember this guy telling me, "Oh, I'm sorry, you cannot get out of that. You have to get bankruptcy or file bankruptcy." And I say, "No." And he said, "Yeah, you cannot. It's impossible." So I went back home and I said, "Okay, I am an accountant. I know numbers. I've been knowing numbers since I was a child. So this is not new for me. I teach this every day in my business. What about if I do what I teach? Wouldn't it be more logical?" So I start, okay, I'm going to start from zero. What do I teach? What do I do? So I start doing organizing my life. But I have to see myself first. What I was afraid that it led me to spend so much money without caring of myself. What is happening in me? What I'm not saying out loud that I had to run to a store to buy stuff that I don't need. Why I'm not loving myself enough that my time that I was exchanging time for money, because that's what we do. So I was throwing away my money into the garbage. What is happening to me? So I have to listen to, in order to fix the problem, you have to go to the root. So I have to go into my heart. When I start being honest with myself, when I have to heal my heart first, that I wasn't, that time it was 2008, 2009. So, okay, I'm not a homeless anymore. I don't have to be afraid of not having, because I'm a child of God. And if I accept the blessings that we all have just for being here, I won't have any more emptiness of anything. So I needed to stop, and I needed to appreciate myself, what I was doing, my business, and all this. And then when I did that healing, I start organizing my finances. Okay, this is my debts. I'm going to start paying one. Then when I finish paying one, pay another one, and keep going until I got out of debt. Since then, and I haven't been in bad debt since then. Managing my money, managing my emotions, understanding that I'm still a human being, but managing better. And I start giving more seminars, more classes, more businesses. The businesses start flourishing because I was flourished myself. Because we give what we are, not what we want to be. So it was an amazing lesson. Then after I went through, I start sharing my story that you can be in a really bad position, but if you start with you, taking care of you, you can change your life. Now I have an amazing business. No one, I have a couple business that make really well. I'm an investor. I have more than 10 properties that makes passive income for me, and I teach that to every person that comes to me. I'm a realtor too, and I help people that want to invest in good debts, their own money, to make more money. And I share it. The important thing after you learn something is to share it, like what you do. Because we need more hope in the world. And when you see other people, oh, I'm not that bad, you get like that feeling of being strong. Okay, I can make it better. And stop being looking at what you don't have. You start blessing what you have. And with that comes more blessings into your life.
I have to agree with you. I think everyone needs to have a good relationship with money. I
Yeah.
think, and I think about I would say about 40% of Americans, we do not have a good relationship with money. We just spend, and then we have those credit card with the high interest, the mortgage with the highest interest in the world, and we just keep getting screwed and screwed over and over again. And I guess that's the reason why God created people like you to actually
Yes.
come and give us the information, the help that we need to not keep screwing up. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. So you started your own business, and what were the obstacles you faced during starting your business?
Yeah. The big one was when I started, I rent out the office and I just have one. I didn't even have money for to buy a desk. So I had a friend who works with wood and he bought in Home Depot two doors. The doors that you open the door for your house. He opened two doors, he buy two doors. So he put one door in this side, another door in this side. He attached it, he painted, and he put two something to hold the doors, and that was my desk. That's how I started. So I have this huge desk made out of two doors from Home Depot. Okay, and I was sitting there, okay, how I get business? Because I had the office, I have the desk, I had the computer, I had the phone. So who's gonna come? So I decided to go out and start knocking doors. And with my business cards, everything amazing, my shirt, and my happiness, my motivation, and yes, people start calling, but I was outside and nobody was answering the phone. It was funny. So when I got to the office, all these missed calls, and I said, okay, I need help, but how I'm gonna pay the person, even a part-time person, I don't have the money. So it's always my first lesson is ask the right questions. I could get stuck into, oh, I can. Let's close because I can't do it by myself. That's what most people do. I've never been like that. I always ask the right questions. So I need somebody to help me answer the phones when I'm not in the office. How I can do that? So I start looking for a job. I have knowledge. I know that someone will pay me really good money to do what I do. So I apply as an accountant in a company who needed a part-time accountant. So they hired me from 7 a.m. to 12 noon to review financial records, to review documents, to review stuff. And back then, they were paying me $20 per hour just to go part-time in the morning, review, and that was perfect for me because back then, paying someone $10 per hour was amazing. So I got the job from 7 a.m. to 12. I hired somebody to work for me from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So I can go from 12 to 3, knocking doors everywhere to get business while she was answering the phone. And then I got to my office at 3, she left, and I stayed to do the work. That's how I started. So I got a salary that pays for my employee, and it pays a little bit for me while I was starting my business. That's how I started. Always ask the right questions. And the right question, it has to have a possibility. That's a saying that if you believe that you can, you can. If you believe that you can't, so you can't. That's why the questions that you ask yourself, you always have to have a possibility. And with that, you have a huge infinities possibilities to do whatever you want to do. You just have to be clear on what do you want.
Wow.
And it was amazing. And I just last there for 6 months because the work that I was doing, knocking doors, was making an impact. People needed what I was offering. Business owners, they are in the business of solutions. So I got a problem. My business was giving the solution to that problem. So since then, we helped more than 15 individuals and small businesses, not only in Central Florida. We help people out of the state too that believe in us, and it's been an amazing journey. As I say, yesterday came a customer that I started 10 years ago with him, and he was in a really bad position. He didn't have anything. He was in a position that we never want to be. And when I saw him yesterday, and when we were talking, I was so happy to see how he changed his life. And he took my hand and changed his knowledge, his belief, and he took a chance on him. And now he's married, he has a family, he has a wonderful business, he has investments, because he took the chance. He decided, okay, I don't know it all. You don't know it all. I don't know it all. But I find the people who knows what I need, and I take the person's hands. And that's what I've been helping. When you're happy and when you're a good professional with ethic, you never be afraid when you're teaching another person to do better. When we're happy with ourselves, we are happy that other people are happier than you. Because we want that. Yes or no? We want that.
Yes, I
So,
agree.
so that's as a professionals, every professional that will hear this, we have the responsibility to teach others, and those others to be better than us. That's our responsibility.
Absolutely. And then that's the reason why we went through all of the things, that the obstacles, all the like, for example, you from coming from a different country to Atlanta, from Atlanta, obviously you're in Florida. It's like all the things that you went through, even being pregnant, getting in that van that day. All of this, you're supposed to go through all of them to learn something so that you can go out there and teach it to someone else. And then, like you said, when you're teaching it with, you feel like a big relief. It's like listening to your story. It's like it's make me, I don't know how to explain it. It's sad, but at the same time, I feel like, wow, you've been through all that, and look at where you are. And more people need to hear this. Not more people need to listen to it, because so many other women out there, even men, are suffering, and they just need someone to tell them, you can do this. You are not alone. You might feel like you are alone, but you are not. There's people out there that are suffering just like you. And you need to get up, make a change, and go out there and change someone else's life. And I don't know how much to thank you for sharing your story. And I have another question that I have for you. You call yourself Latino Tax Poor, and not just a tax not just a tax poor, but you call yourself Latino Tax Poor. Can you explain why don't you just call yourself a tax poor? Why do you call yourself a Latino tax poor?
Well, I'm my background. I'm from Latin America. I love my people. We don't serve only from Latin America. We serve anyone who needs our help. Okay, we don't see background. We don't see countries. We don't see anything. We have a purpose, and we fulfill that purpose every single day. Um, I help as much people understanding the first law in United States that is the more important is you pay your taxes. To understand, not necessarily pay taxes, okay? Because if you know the law, there is a lot of stuff that you can learn from it and use it to your own benefit, okay? So that's the main thing that we do, tax preparation, of course, but my job is more financial education. In Latin America, nobody teach us financial education at all. We don't even talk about money. We see even, we have this belief that if you have money, it's because you are a bad person, a drug dealer, or it's bad stuff. That's a belief in Latin America. So my job for the past 18 years has been getting the knowledge and share it with my people, that if you do the right decisions and you have the good knowledge, you can make that change. And we've been seeing amazing people changing those beliefs and sharing with their communities. And that's how we change history. It's important nowadays to have financial education, to make better decisions, to care for your family, to care for your community, to care for the country that you're living in. It should be an obligation in schools. I don't know why schools doesn't still teach it when it has to be teach. It's the main thing. That's when you make peace with yourself. Yourself and money is the same energy. So when you understand money, it's because you're understanding yourself. It has to be linked. And when you make that peace is when finances start going well in your life. Because you're not going against it or behind it. You are wealthy. You already are successful. You just have to find the way to express it. And start living already what you want to live, but with decisions. So there is a association that I'm part of it, and it calls Latino Tax Pro. And one of the things that we share is to be the best professionals that we can with ethics and moral to handle every situation with each client that we take every day, to do the right thing. And that's what we do every single day.
Thank you. And now I understand why you call yourself that. And just to be clear, your company help. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. Help anyone, but there's a specialty, the fact that Latino don't have the same type of education when it's come to financial. So you being a Latino tax poor, create a trust between you and other Latinos to be able to help them. Because I will be scared myself if to reach out to someone that, especially when you don't have a good relationship with money, so to reach
Yeah.
out just to anyone to help you, knowing that that person know your language, that's one, they can understand where you come from, that's a second, create a bigger connection. So now I kind of understand why you call yourself a Latino tax poor.
I always tell every person that, and this is in any area, if you're gonna find or you need a professional for anything, please do your due diligence. What does that mean, do your due diligence? That person needs the experience and be where you want to be. Let's say you want to invest on real estate. So you need to find a tax professional or an accountant. Not anyone. An accountant or a tax professional that has real estate property and have that knowledge. Because if they don't know what you want to do, it's impossible that they can take you there. You cannot take anyone to a place that you've never been. Not never. It's impossible. So you have to do your own diligence and find the professional or the person. They already are in where you want to be, because that person can take you there. That's the first rule of any type of professional.
I totally agree with you on that. Totally. You can't really teach anyone anything if you don't know what you're talking about or what they're even talking about. So I seen people try to do it, and usually they end up back down in the ass. So I will not tell anyone to go do that. And I heard people said, well, I'll learn it while I'm teaching it. Well, that doesn't usually work that way. You gotta know it first. I have another question I have for you. What feature do you see for small businesses in the United States after the pandemic?
Well, definitely it changed. It changed, but it changed in a good way to the people who didn't resist the change. I've been seeing it, the struggle of people wanting to do business the same way before the pandemic. And most of them, they already closed their business because they didn't want to understand technology. They didn't want to get out there because they were afraid. When we resist something, even if you don't accept it, it's because you're afraid. Because most people are afraid of the unknown. Because if you know what is going to be in the future, if you know that, you wouldn't be afraid. But to the unknown, people run away. When there is the most amazing place that you can be, in the unknown. So if whatever professional that is open to change and to know something unknown is the better professional that it can be, because we're going to keep changing and changing and changing. Changes is the new normal. You cannot control what is coming, but you can control what you're doing about it. So my advice to anybody right now is flow. Learn a skill, master it, and share it. People need what you're going through right now. And you believe in your lessons, in what you have to share to the world. And if you combine that with technology, you're good to go. Things are going to keep changing. We're not going to go back of how things were. So any person that accepts changes as the new normal, they're going to be amazing, because we're going to keep changing and changing and changing. Technology, how we can connect. You can be anywhere you want, and we can still connect it, and we can still do a program, an interview, and share it with the whole world. It's a really beautiful opportunity that we have now that we didn't have before. So we can take advantage in a good way. Of course, some people are doing no good things with this, but if we all start getting the best of us on each thing that we do and share it with the world, we can make amazing businesses. We can make amazing communicators. We can do whatever we want. Now it's the right question is, what do you want? You can stay where you are, and that's okay, or you can make a change and flow with this new normal. And let's see what happens.
I don't think I can say it any better. I have to say, well said. Oh my goodness, this has been a very passionate conversation, and I love having that type of conversation because not everyone want to have them. People want to just talk about how life is wonderful, but they don't want to talk about how did life end up being wonderful, all the things you've been through to get to where you are. So it's amazing to listen to a woman that's been pregnant, homeless, leaving her home country to come to a new country, end up in a van that she's blindfolded, blindfolded, and she has to live in a shelter for 6 months, and then here she is. And not to say that with a $60,000 debt that she needs to figure out how to pay it to create a better life for her and her beautiful daughter. So it's amazing, and thank you so much for sharing that. And
Yes,
women need to hear
and
this.
yes, and one of the most amazing moments in as far as my whole life until this point was back in this December when she graduates from FIU with honors from honors school. And it was this beautiful event on FIU stadium. The program, her program, left her until the end, so they can do an honors entrance only for her with her name, Mariet Ostos, to honor her pass through FIU because she did an amazing and extraordinary job in FIU. That day when I was in that stadium, everyone was cheering and sharing her happiness and her glow and everything that she has done. She's 21 years old right now. And her amazing grades in back in 2017, FIU took her. We were living in Orlando, and came and took her to Miami, paying everything with honors and everything because she's amazing. She's a wonderful human being. Well, she changed my life being in when she was in my belly. She's an amazing, wonderful human being. We went through really strong situations, and she decided to bring the best out of that situations that we went through because we grow together. So that point, it was like, oh my God, all the sacrifices that we took, they were completely worth it for that moment. What I wanted to share is, I know that we have challenged times. I just want to tell you, keep going. Cry and rest if you need it, but never stop, because I can guarantee it will be worth it. And you will live the best of your life if you just make that decision that you know you need to make.
all of your hard work paid
Yes.
off.
Yes.
You did it all, and
Yeah.
all paid off.
Yes. Yes.
This is amazing. Thank
She
you for
doesn't have
sharing
any
it.
debt. She has her first investment property that she bought last year in Miami. We can teach our children, our kids, since any age, how to manage money and how to take care of themselves. And with that, we change the world.
You know, I can keep this conversation going
I know.
for at least a year because this is amazing. This is like, it's great to meet
Yes.
female founders that actually went through hell to create something, not just to help other people, but also our own children, to make them better, to teach them to go out there and teach it to others, to for the next generation. This is amazing. I don't think you understand all the things you have accomplished in the past few
Yeah.
years. And I
Yes.
have to say thank you for went through all of that, and thank you for
Mhm.
not giving up. And
Yeah.
thank you for sharing it with everyone else in this world. And before we stop the we go, anything else you'd like to share with us?
Organize your life. Sit and be honest with yourself. You don't have to lie anymore to yourself. Nobody cares. Really, nobody cares. So just be honest with yourself. Sit and just decide, what do you want? Ask, I'm going to just leave you three questions really quick. What do you want? What you have to do to get it? What do I have to do every day to get closer? Those three questions every single day. What do I want? What do I have to do to get it? And what do I have to do daily to do it, to get closer to it? That's it. And just work every day. Forget about the future. Because future give anxiety. Like, oh my God, I need to do it faster. No. There is no a competition. There is not a competition. And if you do that three questions, do it, at least give it to yourself 6 months. Just get with yourself and do this for 6 months, and you will see how it will change the rest of your life.
Thank you. You heard her.
Thank you.
That's all it takes. You heard her. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, this window to inspire other women, to inspire anyone who can hear us.
I have to say, this was a very great discussion with Mariet. And my takeaway from this conversation is that we cannot give up. We have to keep having faith and believe in ourselves that God will somehow send us the support and the help that we need to keep on moving forward. Imagine if Mariet didn't take the help to actually go to that shelter. Today, she probably wouldn't have a business. She probably wouldn't be able to take care of her daughter the way she has been. So she created something because she allowed herself, she gives herself permission to actually get help, to actually allow someone to help her, even that person was a stranger. So my takeaway is that get the help that you need. When you're starting a business, it's hard. It's not easy. I know because I started a business and I know it's not easy. So always look for help. Get a mentor, get a coach, get someone that will have your back when you need help. And always remember that you cannot start a business on your own. You will need help. And remember, at the end, pray, ask for the support from God because He will send it your way because He did for Mariet. Thank you for listening to Female Founders Podcast. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app or connect with us on womel.com so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time. Bye for now.